Hey all, welcome to another live session. This also Ask Me Anything type session, and in background I will be working on one of my Go projects. You can ask anything related to the project or anything in general, and I will try to answer. So in the meanwhile, I will check some settings and be back in a second. So we will be starting in a second. Again, if you have any question, you can ask in chat. I will check all messages. Actually, right now we have. I'm trying to set also like YouTube. I'm not sure if it's live already. Yeah, seems to be live. So basically, what I will do, I will let me open also this view. Okay, so I think it's also working for YouTube now. On the screen I see all my messages. This is also how your message will appear on the screen. And on the left side I will be basically working on the source code. Okay, so plan for today is again work on my Go project. Yep. And maybe let me, before I start, clean this chat box here. Okay. Okay, I think we are good to go now. Okay, so I will be working on my, again, Go project. Actually, for today I was thinking maybe I can start, I can pick up another framework. Let me see if I have on the screen. Nope. Yeah, so this is a project I'm talking about. Maybe let me zoom in. I was planning to work on something new, on like, I mean, to pick up any other framework which I am not familiar, and go through the code documentation and maybe start laying out structure for the project, and also like initial features like CRUD endpoints and all this. So maybe let me take a look to this one, Fiber. So this is a framework. Actually, I heard a lot about this one recently. It's an Express-inspired web framework built on top of the fast HTTP engine for Go, designed to ease things up for fast development with zero memory allocation and performance in mind. Let me check this one, fast HTTP. Fast HTTP package for Go, tuned for high performance, zero memory allocations in hot path, up to 10 access. Okay. Yeah, usually like steps which I follow for each framework. They are, I start project, like zero project, then add a very basic endpoint similar to the one you see on the screen. And next is usually we do also like CRUD endpoint for a demo entities. And I think I can Okay, so let me pick this one up. Let's start from the beginning. So what I will need to do, I will need to go back to the terminal. Let me check. Okay, so this is all pushed. Let's check out. Yeah, so far we don't have anything here. It's just demo package and Go version. And first thing we do is to get this fiber installed. Come on, go get. So maybe zoom in here, one more. And actually I can also use terminal from here. But okay, so we have fiber installed, and usually first thing, maybe let me open also one of the other examples. Let's do iris. Usually what I do as a first step, it's very basics. I just I just do the following. Let me open it up. Server.go. So I have one. Yeah, I already overrated it. So basically, what I do, I put kind of hello world on a root pad. So let's do this as a first step, which we can actually copy paste. Before we can also bootstrap the basics, like we have main function, fiber up itself. So let me do this. And for some frameworks, and I think it is Echo. I also did some basic refactoring in one of the past streams. I will check if I have it on master branch. So if I go here, Echo, server.go. Yeah, so as you can see here, for Echo framework, I actually did some refactoring. So like I don't just have everything in main function, but I initialize a new application, which is another structure, and then start init. But we do this usually later in the stage. So for now, I will just go here and use main function. So let me do this. Server.go. We have here package main. And I want to check for iris, let's say. yeah, so it's always up. The thing is, why I'm checking like and double checking the things, because I want to keep everything very standard, like I mean standardize it for each framework. So I have the same structure, same variable names, in case if anyone wants to compare these frameworks to each other. So I will use the same naming also for Fiverr. So which I will do if I go back Fiverr. So we will have application, which will be Fiverr.new, right? This was the case. And let me see what we have as part of the application here. Didn't we import v2? So Visual C code is slow today. Okay, so let's check what we have in new. Coffee, string. I'm checking what we have as part of this context. first step is done. So now what I want to do, I want to check if we have like, I mean, for some frameworks we also have FYI. Yep, there is someone commenting on YouTube, but I don't get what is wur.fyi. Yeah, I was checking if we have any material load feature, and there's preferred processes. Okay. So now when we have simple API, let me see how we can do CRUD-like API when we have like create, read, update, delete for this specific framework. I'm looking for something like this one, so I can group all of them under one group, right? So for example, if I have entities, I can group it under one group, and then I can have post, delete, and all this separately. And I'm thinking actually to use like something like this. So we have API. We can go like entities API. It can be another one. It can be one group. I'm just a little confused by this one here. I guess it's explained at some point. Oh, so I can also skip it, as I understand. Okay, let's start. But I guess before I do anything, I need to import my package. This is shared code between frameworks. So I will need to import this one in Fiber, and actually I can copy this from iOS. So I will need to go here and do replace. So now I am back to Fiber project, and I can do like this. And here I can say this. Oops, go back. And just for a moment, I want to use entities, which will be package dot let's say blah blah blah. But first I need to get this one. So now we have this request story, I believe. Let me see if we can initialize it. first way. And so here we return a JSON, right, with just a string. So what I will do here now, I will get a list of the entities. So first page, and then page size. For now, let me put 10, and let's ignore error for now. So we'll get entities. So we get list of the entities in a JSON format. We can also check what kind of headers we get by default. We have content type JSON, except blah blah blah. Okay, nothing unusual, I guess. Okay, so now when we have it, let's do. So this is get for list. So now we can do the same, but for one single item. And for this, I will need to check how we can send like ID of the entity. So we can use params. This is our first option. Okay, so and let me also double check in routing part. Parameters. So for our use case, I believe this is what I need. So I will have ID, like entity ID or something like this, and we'll get it by this, by using C params. Let me see what else we have. Yes, there is many forms we can customize. Color blue, size, XS. Intelligent route recognized and parameters should be part of the request. As them such as Okay, so we have also typed params, so I can directly say we expect integer, which is cool. So we can do id, and default will be, no, I want to use 0. Let me see what we need. We can also get error. Okay. What about string? Is it also is errors? Params. Okay, so in case of string, we can just get one parameter. But I will try with params integer. Integer, say it's id, and default will be 0. So I will again skip error, and next thing we will implement, we will check how we can handle error cases and return actual error to the user. So let me do here id, and it is going to be entity id. Oh, okay, actually it's integer for us. I forgot about this one. So we can actually just go with params id, default will be empty string, and then in our entities repo we take care of this, and we need to check if we get error from here, then we will handle it properly. For now I will just submit these changes and see what's happening. So actually we get this by id. So now I want to check if there is something wrong, how I can return like corresponding errors. And yeah, okay. So since our handler function returns an error, we can handle it also with this return. And I guess there is some already defined like error names. Now I will check again. I will try to keep it similar. So like usually, for example, in case of Echo framework, so no, this is Iris framework. So in case of Iris framework, I was using like this kind of like, for example, if it's not found for entity, I return not found. There might be also some internal server errors. For example, I think it is, yeah, when I try to get, but there is some error from storage, from repository. We also check if there is an like nil option. So let me actually do the same here. So our situation will be, we try to get, if there is an error from storage, we say can I return JSON in this case? Let me say if error isn't empty, what I plan to do, I will still put some JSON, and we use text response for this. It's also in our shared code. Message will be message, yeah, it's called message. So message will be error, so we can get the text of the error, and then we have to return fiber dot error, internal server error, as we don't know at this point what is happening. But we also do like this, so it's not entity, so let's call it entity, single entity, and we also check if entity is nil, then we couldn't find it, right? So we return fiber dot error not found. And here we say entity, and let's restart and check this. So number 7 we do have, right? So we expect we get something, but 70 we don't have. And here we get not found. Let me check if, yeah, it's also 404. I hope it's visible. I just see that for some reasons Facebook dropped my live stream. Let me quickly check why and what's happened. So I see we are still live on YouTube and Twitch. Usually I don't like background music that I'm using. Yeah, I don't see any messages. Anyway, so let me just double check also Twitch for a second. So it looks like it's live. It's cool. Okay, so in a second what I will do, I will so we have error handling now, right? Maybe let's also implement this for listing. Before I do so, let me message this in Facebook. Okay, so about error handling for list. So here we also do paging. So I think I actually need to fix two things. First is do error check. So if we have any error, we say, you can actually copy paste it here. We return text message. Yeah, and stats code internal server error. So this is our strategy for this kind of errors. So next will be, so here I also have paging. So what I will do, I will check page param, which is also integer. For now I am not going to skip it. I will need to think for a second. And this will be params, because it's optional parameter. Page, and default will be 1, and we say, we pass it here, page. Does that work? Yes. Param cannot initialize two variables with one values. What? Yeah, okay, yeah. Params integer. And we do check for error. But the thing is, since it is I will actually just skip it. If there is any error, I don't mind. But does it mean I will still get 1? This is good part. Let me see. Yeah. We get 0 and error, which I don't like. Or no. Oh, yeah. So if you have any error, we check default value and return first one. So we are safe, right? So if I still skip this error checking, we get 1. And let's check this. Okay, so we have some things. Okay, so this is page 1, but the thing is I will need to put paging a bit less pages here, not 10. Usually in other frameworks I have this variable page size we can do just for testing purposes. So I will do like this and use this here. Page size will be 4. Okay, and let's start again. Oh, that's cool. Get internal server, and we don't get anything as a message. That's bad. Why? Just internal server. Entity out of range. And what's entity 4? Wait a moment. Oh yeah. Okay. But I caught another mistake. So if I do c.json in Fiber, I don't see this text message on the screen, which is a bit different than what I expected. And why I don't get entity out of range message. Yeah, because I just returned Fiverr. Okay. So let me check a bit. So like actual error is here. So by default, I did a mistake. I should have changed here, not here, right? So it should be page size here, and this should remain 1. But the thing is, I also caught another error. So this one doesn't show my message. So do I have anything like c.error or something? No. Okay, let me check documentation again. Because I want to show... Oh, okay, so this is also good. New error, I can do new error. This is also cool. And say status code, content type, blah blah blah. Oh, or I can say like this, okay? Like I have full control over what I return. This is good because each framework they do this part differently. For example, we can compare it to another framework, which is again in this case it's Iris. Actually, we can compare it just to two other frameworks, Iris and Echo. First, let's try with Iris. So in Iris, when you do listing, if you have any error, you set status code, you set your payload, and you return, right? Let's check the same for Echo. So in Echo, what we do, let's use the same method, list entities. So if you have any error, yeah, we can just directly put it here. We say like we return JSON with this status code and payload is this. And in Fiverr, you can set your JSON. Actually, in Fiverr, we can also do the same, right? So we can say code, or what is this? I will use the same style. Status. So it is status. For now, let's say Fiverr status internal server error. Would it be okay? Yes. Then I do JSON, right? And set my message. Let's say for now error message, and I put it here. So this will have the same effect, but I find this one more readable. So in this case we say JSON and all this, and we also return see, there was another option, let me see. New error. No, it was Fiverr. New error. Code Fiverr dot internal server error. And message. Okay, so message is actually like message, like it's a string. So I can say error, right? And let's comment this part and start application again. Okay, so there is a question. What do you think is the future of Go and JavaScript? It is quite broad question. So for JavaScript, it's obvious, it's everywhere, right? So, and you can use it for backend, you can use it for frontend. And actually, I don't see JavaScript going anywhere in short-term future. I would recommend that you also if you want to make JavaScript your only language, also check TypeScript and try front-end and back-end, right? Like what is called like full stack, right? Full stack JavaScript developer. About Go, Go is like kind of, it has its own like niche. For example, if you are doing microservices, this is one option, or if you are building cloud native applications, it's very widely used, right? For example, personally I like that you can just compile to binary, one single binary file, and use it as a command line, or you can use it as a server application, and that's it, right? So like, for example, as since I am just before Go I was using Python. In Python, like, you deploy kind of like, I mean, maybe I will say something wrong, but you will deploy text files and make it work as application, right? But in Go you can just make binary file and run it on Unix or Linux or any other operational systems without additional dependencies. Only dependency you will have is during your compile or build time. So maybe I can also combine these two and maybe answer this way. So Go and JavaScript. I also see like some profiles, some developers say combine these two and they use Go for backend and JavaScript for frontend. I personally like it very much because, but I will make side note that probably you don't need actually Go for everything, right? So if it's very simple application, you can use Node.js, right? So you don't need, like, in some cases you probably don't need Go. But there are multiple aspects, multiple perspectives, right? So if you're working for a company where Go and JavaScript is a stack, so having these two, like, I mean, makes sense. You will have JavaScript for front end, Go for backend in most cases, and that's it. And I think in future we will have more and more need for this kind of stuff, for this kind of stack, right? Probably you will not use Go for front end, right? So especially if you are building web applications, so you will need still something like JavaScript. So probably, like, what I'm trying to say with the last sentence is Go is like purely for backend development, right? Or like very specific cases like system development or etc. If you want to do full stack, you will need to JavaScript. So together these two, like, together Go, like, at least to my knowledge, in cases when Go is a backend language and JavaScript is a front-end language. And I also personally like this combination. But yeah, my answer maybe is not the best, but if you want to elaborate more on if you're looking for something more specific, just let me know in comments and I will try to answer this. So yeah, so in terms of this part, where we are now, we have yeah, I want to check this error messaging part. So but first I will need to simulate an error case, which I will do by providing page which is like more than what we have, bigger than like our last page. Okay, so I think I caught another error, another mistake. So even so, I sent page, yeah, probably I did something wrong. Let me check with documentation. So this doesn't work with this kind of parameters. So I will need to change this. I will need to think how it's done. So I'm using this chance to also read about client part, which I don't need at the moment, but it's just good to know. Query string probably, right? What is this about? Let me first understand. Client. The client structure. Struct represents a fiber HTTP client. Okay, okay, I see. What we need is query param, right? Let me maybe specifically look for this one. Fiber. Blah 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 blah. Not what we want. Application. So I just another kind reminder that if you have any question, please ask in a chat, in a comment section. I will try to answer. And I am actually right now checking comments. Okay. Okay, there is another question. When I see IT sector, I just wave is what you all you can learn and you can do. For example, there is a blockchain, machine learning, web dev, Android dev, AR, VR, etc. With so many things, it's hard to retain. Yeah, I can understand you, really. I mean, let me start with blockchain part, right? So it is something, or Web3 blockchain, like there is a, yeah, it depends how you look, from where you look at them. Even for me, when I already like work for, I don't know, more than 12 years as a developer, as a, like, I mean, professionally, I mean, it is still confusing. I mean, in a sense, it's hard to prioritize, especially you already know, like, I mean, for example, last couple of years, I know, like, I am more interested in compiled languages, for example, right? Not that languages is like a very important part of it, but still having the switch from like microservices, from API development and all things that we do usually for a corporate to something like blockchain, right, or Web3, because in this part, language is not your primary learning point, but infrastructure, like all this stack overall, right? Like, I mean, you need to know about contracts, you need to know about how blockchain works and all this. So this is your entry point. That's why I understand confusion. I also have the same, right? And for me, for example, personally, I understand that I am not mentally ready to do the switch from what I do now to what's called Web3. But I understand, like, it's very trendy. I have a couple of friends and ex-colleagues who did this switch, right? So it's for me, it's exciting to follow and see what they are doing, and personally, passively learn about this kind of stuff more and more. So this is about, like, personal for me. About if you are just starting, where you need to start, like web dev, Android dev, I would, first of all, I would suggest, I give this suggestion to everyone. First thing I suggest is try as many of them as possible, right? I mean, give yourself like a couple of days for mobile, couple of days for web development, for blockchain even, right? So if you have enough time, maybe not a couple of days, but a week or two, try each of them and find which one you like best. And best way to do this is actually practice, actually write some code, do some applications, do some demo applications, right? For example, again, let me use my like personal example. I think it's the best to explain. For example, this Fiber, I never used it. I open stream, like doing streams motivates me to do like something, to practice it. Usually if I don't do stream, I do something else. I read a book or some whatever. But by doing stream motivates me to do it, right? So also find something which will motivate you to do something. And the best way to learn is to actually practice. So in terms of ML, web dev, Android dev, I assure that you can practice all of them in a week or so. There's a lot of materials out there. Even for machine learning, you can start with the basics, right? You can take Python, read a few articles, and just try to repeat after them, right? So repeat what's explained. And at the end, you will find what you like the most, right? So, and let's say if it's web development for you, focus on web development. If it's API development or backend development for you, focus on this. Think less about languages, even so it's crucial for finding a job. Because, for example, I am just guessing, right? So maybe I will say something incorrect, but let's say if you are looking for, if you start with C++, maybe you will have much less options. Maybe I'm wrong. It depends also where you live. But if you start with Python or JavaScript, you will have more chances, right? So that's why I would also suggest like try few languages, see which one you like, few like popular and trending languages, and I can name, let's say like Python is always trendy, Go is quite popular these days, JavaScript, TypeScript, Java itself, right? Not JavaScript, but Java. Yeah, try them, and based on where you live, pick one. And let's say if it's a web API or backend development for you, try to practice as many things, as many example projects as possible. And also in parallel, find what's best practice for your tech stack, right? So for example, if it's a JavaScript project, check other JavaScript projects, open source JavaScript projects, and see what's components of this project. Like for example, linting, like this kind of stuff. What's a CI/CD? How you can build one yourself. So probably like this is probably like all I can say for now. But again, if you have anything more to ask, please put them in the chat, in the comments. I will try to answer. And let me actually move chat box to the left a little so it's visible to everyone. So where I stopped, I need to see how I can say it, query params. I'm sure that this is very easy to do, but since I'm not familiar with this framework, I will just see parameters with question mark, right? So we are looking with a final, unlike the plus sign, which is not optional. We can use a wildcard for a parameter range with options. Blah, blah, blah. I will search for query param. Yeah. Okay, I'm reading your question actually. What's your view about competitive programming, competitive coding? On one hand, there is competitive coding. On other, we have development. Good companies always ask for data structures and algorithms in their candidate. Yeah. It's a good question again. I don't agree only maybe with one part, which is good companies always ask for. Nowadays actually it's not. But I guess you mean, but good companies. I think you mean like fun, right? So it's called like top IT or development companies. Maybe top is also incorrect word here, but like companies like Facebook, Microsoft, maybe fun. No, Netflix, etc. It's like yeah, these kind of companies. First of all, I think knowing algorithms and data structures is always good, right? Even if you are not searching for a job, I think it's always to practice them. Always good to know basics, because like one reason it will just make your code much better. About competitive coding, I am not sure, to be honest. It depends. If you are very good in competitive coding, probably it will be for you much easier to find a job, right? But competitive coding, it requires a lot of efforts as well. Like there is a lot, like few people I follow on YouTube. They live stream, they post videos about competitive programming, and for them it's like full-time job, right? As I understand. That's why what I would suggest that you learn about data structures, you learn about algorithms, you practice them. If you are like, especially if you are just learning, you also do some kind of practical, like what you call development, right? So you do few like example projects, like build few backend APIs if you want to be on backend side. If you're a front-end developer, learn and build some, like for example, not readme, but to-do applications, like UI for to-do application. If you're backend, do backend API for to-do application, and in parallel practice data structures and algorithms, because it will just enable you to find jobs. If you specifically want to aim for like companies like Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and all this, maybe it really makes sense to full-time focus on algorithms and data structures. But there is also companies which doesn't ask for algorithms and data structures, but they can give you like take-home assignment. Like they will ask you to implement some application in a specific language or in any language, right? So this is also like practice. Some companies also do this. That's why doing both and practicing both will help you in your job seeking, in your like for finding a job, right? And also like why I personally would give you advice to do both, right? Data structures and also development, because combination of these two will make you a better developer, in my opinion. That's why I would say try to do both. Okay, I hope this also helped. I also see other comment, word.fya. I don't know what it means, but let me search. Oh, okay. It is a spam. I need to block this kind of comments. But anyway, if you have any questions, any other questions, just let me know. And I will continue looking for this query params. I think this repository is a must check for everyone who wants to learn about this framework, about Go. Yeah, sure, you can write them down. I sent in YouTube one link. It is really good if you want to learn about Go Fiber. Yeah, it's very specific to Go language, but still, maybe for future viewers it will be interesting. Okay, so query. Yeah, I just guessed actually this one because usually this is what they call. It's for query, right? So let me see. Query returns a query string parameter in the URL, and we don't have. Okay, this is what I was looking, I think. One thing which I will need to do is to parse. Okay, so we can do like this. One. So just another note that I plan to end stream in 10 minutes or so. So if you still have any questions, please ask, or otherwise we can also yeah, follow up in tomorrow's streaming session. I will host another one tomorrow. And it's sad to see that Facebook again blocked my live stream because of copyright, but I use copyright-free music in the background. I don't know why they do this. Anyway, okay, let me see. Okay, let's finish this part. So we have page, and we need to convert it. Page, and it will be strconf. Wait. Come on, where's your code? Itoa or no? Add to it, right? Yes. So which will be page string. Error. And actually we can skip this here. So if we get any, no, actually I will do like this. I will, if error isn't this, I will set page to 1. And now we can run this. Hey, hello. SHM. This nickname sounds very familiar. Welcome to the channel. There was a few questions on YouTube side. This comment is on Twitch. But still, if you have any question, please feel free to ask. And yeah, and maybe also then make sure to follow, subscribe as usually. Okay, so what we have here. Yeah, so now I expect that when I do this, I will get this page finally. Page 30, yeah, okay, cool. And now we should get to another error, which is out of range, right? What's your project? Yeah, sure. So my project is about, yeah, and then thanks for following, by the way. So my project is about this repository, this one here. I will send a link in the chat. This is my repository where I work on each of these frameworks. So far I have Echo and Iris. I'm working on Fiber and try to do these features. And today specifically I am working with Fiber. It's a Go language, and then Fiber web framework. And I am specifically working on this Fiber web framework. It's another repository, and implementing very basic things. And at the moment I am implementing list endpoint and kind of error handling, getting paging parameter, this kind of stuff. Let me know if you have any more questions, any more maybe specific questions. And also, if you don't mind sharing your background, like, I mean, how you know about this channel, what you are doing, what you are, like, your language, programming language. So I'm just keen to know. So let me restart this application. And what we have here. Yeah, so this is what I was expecting. I get this message. So now I have another challenge. Actually, I need to now return this message as a JSON, because this one here returns a string, and I don't want string. I want JSON. So I guess I will just switch to this one here, to this usage here. You are welcome. Okay, so we did. I hope I say your name correctly. It's on yeah, YouTube. This comment is on YouTube. Anyways, a great job. Learning gets. Okay, yeah, I see. Yeah, I see your question is also on the screen, so this is good part. I will answer your question in a second. I want to just make sure that it is visible. But yeah, if I change anything, all messages will go away. So okay, I will just read it. So the question is like how you can handle learning but also finding job at the same time. You understand it's time management, but still you want some advice on it. Let me think, because like, I mean, for me, I remember facing the same things, and I remember, like, for example, I can again give you my example. When I was at university, I actually didn't get any, unfortunately in my case, I didn't get any like any knowledge which could help me to find a job. So I had to do it, like I had to learn it all myself, and I did a lot of mistakes. For example, I started with C++. I even spent 3 months on assembler because I wanted to become system developer, like person who writes kernel, like Linux kernel, or drivers for kernels for operating systems, or write operating systems. And since I am from Azerbaijan, it's like small country, and we didn't have like IT sector developed. It was very wrong decision because I couldn't find any job with these skills. So maybe there was some, but since I was like at a university, there was not much for me personally. Then there was some people who gave me advice. But even before this advice, I switched and did some game development. So I spent another 3 months. I did some gaming, but again, like finding a job in Azerbaijan as a game developer is tough, right? So you need to be very lucky to find anything like this. And I'm talking about like 10, 12, like more than 12 years ago actually. So what I did, just a second, I want to see. Yeah. And what I did actually, as you did, I asked for advice, and one very wise person explained to me that if you want to be in system development, like doing operating systems and drivers, then you can still continue learning this stuff, but probably you will find a job, I don't know, in 1 year, 2 years. But since it's very specific tasks and specific job, you will probably get paid a lot. A lot by a lot, I mean, more than like any web developer, for example, right? And again, just a reminder that I'm talking about like more than 10 years ago, and very specific country, which is Azerbaijan. So we didn't have IT sector developed, at least to my knowledge. So. But he like same person mentioned, like if you switch to the web development, for example, you will probably learn faster and also get a job faster, because there is a lot of like demand in building applications. In my case, it was building websites. So what I did, I learned, I think I did some PHP coding, and actually I got some freelance jobs, freelance work. And then I was hired by a company to build their website. It was all PHP. I don't like PHP, to be honest, but like, I mean, it was one of the first languages I used at work. And then I checked around, like, I mean, what is used by other companies, and at the time it was like there was two big options. One was .NET and C#, another was Java and Java ecosystem. So I decided to choose .NET and C# and continue with this. And then at some point I was able to switch. So like this is my personal story, right? So, but for you, and now time is a lot different, right? So now you don't need, you are not, usually you are not restricted in one region. You can find remote jobs. You can find a lot more freelance options, right? So my advice will be like, as you also mentioned, like about time management. My advice would be to plan your time in a way that you have time, like let's say at least 1 hour per day for algorithms and data structure. And during this time, you open LeetCode or HackerRank and do only like these challenges. Then you have another, let's say 1 hour, when you take any task. Again, let's say you are building to-do MVC application, right? And you work on this project. So by doing this, you will, like, I mean, again, you will have some algorithms and data structures background, but also some hands-on experience with building projects. So this is, again, like, this is very personal advice. I understand. I hope you think about it wisely, right? Because I don't know all your situation, but this would be my advice. Because yeah, I personally think like having hands-on project experience is very important. Yeah, I hope this helps. Okay, so let me conclude this part. So what I want to do here, I want to wrap up. So I will remove this one. Yeah, so one reason I don't like this implementation, because here you return JSON, but it's ignored because you need to return by this syntax. So what I will do, I will remove all this part and try this. Maybe not remove, let's comment it for now. So here what I will do, I will create error object, let's say. For now it only has one field, message field, and then I will use the syntax to return an error, and then payload for this response. So, and let's check how this looks like. Okay. So this is what I was expecting. So now we get JSON response, but still with stats code 500, right? So it's a server error, stats code for service error, server error. And why I personally like this option, because yeah, you are always welcome, right? Really. Thanks to you for really cool questions, and I really hope that they help. And actually now when I did this part, I will also close the session. Just to summarize it, now when you list, you can provide page parameter. In case of error, we will return a JSON response, but with a correct stats code, which is 500. So we specify that there was an error, and maybe this is not 500 case because we actually know what happened, right? It's probably like some kind of input parameter error, but this is something for next session. So yeah, for now I will finalize here. Thanks all for watching, for asking questions.